On today's show, how'd you like a job that's out of this world? NASA's hiring its next class of astronauts going to the moon and Mars. The office views are amazing, and the commute, well, it's a real blast. But what is the average salary of a moonwalker? Coming up in my 5 things you need to know, I'll give you the details. And you're listening to music from the opera Scary Beauty. The musicians are real people, but it's conducted by a Japanese android jam-packed with a ton of AI. Plus, do you feel the need? I'm talking about the real need for speed. I'll sit down and speak to the world's fastest female motorcycle racer, Valerie Thompson. She's an 8-time land speed record holder and is set to break another record. What it's like to reach speeds of over 300 miles per hour on a bike and what technology is involved, we'll find out. And finally, forget peepholes, video doorbells are here. And just because your home is safe from intruders doesn't make it safe from hackers. I have 4 essential security settings for anyone who owns a video doorbell. All this and more digital know-how here on Komando. Every day, I check out over 30 different websites to keep up on the latest tech news. And every show, I share only the top 5 stories you need to know. And first up, Jeff Bezos is rich. Really rich. The Amazon CEO recently cashed in more than $4 billion in stock and decided to go house shopping. He just set a real estate record, buying the most expensive home in Los Angeles ever. Bezos bought the Warner estate from media mogul David Geffen for $165 million, which makes up about 0.12% of his $131 billion net worth. Oh, and he wasn't done. He also purchased the nearby Enchanted Hill estate in Beverly Hills for another $90 million. You might ask how one justifies dropping $255 million on a couple of houses at the same time. Well, it helps when you can make billions of dollars over the course of just a few minutes. And for example, on January 31st, Amazon stock skyrocketed on the New York Stock Exchange. And over the course of 15 minutes, Jeff Bezos added $13.2 billion to his net worth. Not too shabby for a boy born to a 17-year-old high school student in the 1960s. Jeff worked as a breakfast shift line cook at McDonald's during his high school years, and in his valedictorian speech said he dreamed of a day we'd colonize space. He went to Princeton, had a slew of great jobs, and started Amazon in his garage in 1994. And good for Jeff. The world has seen very few like him. I hope he invites me to dinner someday. I'm sure all my Prime orders helped him buy those homes. Number 2, what does the P stand for in Facebook? Get it? There's no P. And it stands for privacy. With scandal after scandal, Facebook had to do something to clean up its image after losing and selling our personal data, likes, dislikes, and selling them to whoever comes along. You now have new settings and tools for your Facebook account. For instance, in your account settings, check out advertisers and businesses, then your ad preferences. That's where you'll find out how ads are targeted based on your profile information, like education, employer, and relationship status. You can now also disable those ad tracking settings. And while you're there, check out their latest privacy tool called Off Facebook. It deals with how you're tracked on other sites. Toggle that off too. But a couple of things to remember. 1, this won't stop you from getting ads. They'll just be less personalized. And 2, it doesn't erase what Facebook already knows about you. A shameless plug, you really need to check out the Komando community where you won't see ads and your data will never be sold. It's at komando.com/community. And as far as Facebook goes, it's business as usual. Targeted ads aren't going to target themselves. Number 3, you'll want to share this internet speed fun fact at dinner parties to sound super smart. It doesn't matter which company you're with, your monthly price you pay for internet service is based on download speeds. 25 megs per second qualifies as fast, which is good enough by most standards. But if you've got a lot of connected devices and stream a bunch of content, you're probably going to need 100 megs per second or all the way up to 1 gig per second if you're willing to pay the premium price. Well, hold on to your hats and keys. Scientists in the UK think they've figured out a way to transfer data, get this, at 100 gigs per second by using lasers. Specifically, they're called terahertz quantum cascade lasers. And when they're combined with sound waves, they can send about 100 billion light pulses per second. Okay, let me put that into perspective. 100 gigs per second is 1,000 times faster than 100 megs per second, which is pretty common today. It's still a work in progress, but one day you might be able to tell your grandchildren about how you used to use the internet. It was called Instagram. Okay, number 4, the internet rumor that Eminem has the coronavirus is false, but the internet rumor that there's an app tracking people who do have the virus, it's true. For now, the app is only in China. That's right, China released a mobile map that tracks their people, no surprise there, and alerts them if they've been in close contact with someone who's been infected by the virus. Every registered phone is used to check up to 3 other ID numbers. This way, it triangulates how close you've been to someone who's infected, like a person who you live with, you work closely with, or maybe have been in the same room. If you get a response that you're at risk, you're asked to stay home and contact health officials. You better do it because they'll know. And on that note, if you're looking for stupid ways to go viral, it's best not to try to induce panic about the coronavirus. A YouTuber seemed to think it was a good idea to pretend he was infected with the virus as a prank. And during a flight from Toronto to Jamaica, he apparently stood up and announced that he just came back from Wuhan, China, where the outbreak started, and that he wasn't feeling very well. Bet you can guess how well that was received. The flight carrying 250 passengers turned around. The wannabe YouTube sensation has since apologized, but now he's facing a criminal charge of mischief. As it turns out, he's never been infected with the coronavirus or common sense. Finally, number 5. 2 astronauts walk into a club on the moon. One says to the other, "Let's bounce." This place has no atmosphere. You can use that when you're applying to NASA to join the team of Artemis generation astronauts to work on the ISS and maybe one day take a trip to the moon or maybe Mars. The qualifications are tough, and so is the ability to hold down your lunch as you go from 0 to 17,000 miles per hour in just a few minutes. First, you'll need a master's degree in a STEM field like engineering, biological science, physical science, computer science, or math. If you have a master's in another field, they'll consider you as long as you're 2 years into working toward a PhD in things like math or science. You also need a couple of years of professional experience in one of those fields, or no less than 1,000 hours as a jet pilot. As far as pay goes, I personally was surprised it was so low considering the job. Astronauts make about 65 grand a year on the low end and can top out at about 100K. And if you're wondering about life insurance, astronauts are federal employees, which means they're entitled to discounted government group rates. NASA will begin accepting applications in March, but won't make any selections until sometime next year. If you're done with the usual 9-to-5 grind, here's a job that's out of this world. All right, let's talk about the Kim Komando radio show. You can find us on over 400 top stations from coast to coast and around the globe on American Forces Network Radio. I love this. 177 different countries, and every ship at sea gets the Kim Komando Show. And because it's radio, a big part of a radio show, well, it's the callers, of course. And joining us here is Chris Weiland. He is the official call screener of the Kim Komando National Radio Show. You're looking pretty dapper today.
Oh, thank you. I'm trying to look fancy while I'm here.
You are. You do look fancy. What's going on?
Well, you know, a crazy story I just read in the news. A guy got arrested for being on his horse and using his phone at the same time.
No.
Yeah.
What,
really
driving while horsing?
Yes, exactly. Well, you know, in his defense, he was trying to group text a bunch of people, BT dubs, the British are coming. So it was, you know, scary face emoji a little bit. And then, get this, because he got arrested, now jury has to vote yay or nay.
Or it could be just a bunch of hey. All right, I know that was really bad. Okay. What does it take to reach speeds up to 550 miles per hour? My next guest will tell us about the science and technology it takes to break world records next on Komando. Shopping online with your credit card isn't as safe as you think. Whenever there's money involved, scammers gather. This week's Komando DIY has 3 options safer than your credit or your debit card.
Online shopping is more popular than ever. After all, it's a convenient way to find what you're looking for without the hassle of crowds and long lines. But before you check out with your cart full of cyber deals, you'll want to watch this Komando DIY on the 3 safest ways to pay, shop, and send money online. PayPal is perfect for online purchases, and creating an account is easy. Just visit paypal.com and follow the steps for setup. More than 200,000 shopping sites offer it as an option at checkout. Just look for the button that says Checkout with PayPal, and the on-screen instructions will walk you through the process. Now, as convenient and widely accepted as PayPal is, you might come across a website that only takes credit cards. A great choice that allows you to make your online purchases while keeping your bank account out of reach is a prepaid Visa credit card. It works just like an ordinary credit card, and you can refill it when the funds get low. But if you prefer cash over credit, then you can buy it from Bezos with Amazon Cash. There are two ways to add cash to your Amazon account, by barcode or by phone number. To load money using a barcode, you'll need the Amazon app. Visit one of Amazon's partner stores. Then open the Amazon app and in the search bar, type Amazon Cash. Scroll down and tap Get Your Barcode. The cashier will scan your barcode and you can add any amount from $5 to $500. If you want to add cash to your account by using a phone number, just give the cashier the phone number that's registered to your Amazon account and literally, that's it. So while there are some risks you take while enjoying some online retail therapy, these 3 ways to pay for your purchases will help keep your spending money safe. For step-by-step instructions and more trusted digital advice, you know where to go. Head over to our website, komando.com, and search Safest Ways to Pay Online.
Last year, a Bugatti shattered the record for the fastest car in the world, hitting a speed of 304 miles per hour. Now, the crew at Target 550 is aiming to break it again and by a huge margin. Our first guest is Corey Bly, crew chief for Target 550. His aim is to help driver Valerie Thompson capture the record using the latest innovations in speed, tech, and safety. Hey, Corey, we're so glad to have you here at the Kim Komando Show. So let me start by asking you, what kind of car does it take to go 550 miles per hour?
The car has to be very aerodynamic. The car has to have a lot of power. It has to be built safely, and you have to have a driver that'll put her foot down and make it go.
And just hold on for the ride, right?
That's right.
Okay, so you talked about it being aerodynamic. How much does it weigh?
Car weighs almost 9,000 pounds.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, weight is not a problem for what we're doing. It's actually a benefit for traction.
And then what kind of engines are on board?
Car has 2 aluminum Hemis, similar to what you'd find in drag race cars.
And what kind of horsepower are they?
Currently, they make 2,500 horsepower each. We can tune them up a little bit more than that, but we haven't used the power that we have yet.
2,500 horsepower? Jeez,
Each,
that's
yes.
each. Oh my gosh. I have to tell you, I have a Ferrari F12 Berlinetta, and I think that car kicks butt, but yours kind of beats mine just out of the ballpark.
Yeah, the Target 550 car at about, maybe an 1/8 of an inch of throttle travel will have as much power as your Ferrari does.
And so how long is it going to take for you to get to the 550 miles per hour mark?
You mean in a single race, it takes roughly 45 seconds. We're working at it in the big picture. We're still taking baby steps up towards it. The car's only made less than 12 passes at this point, so we've got a ways to go yet. We're hoping to see something in the mid-400s in Australia this year, for sure.
So Valerie's going to get in the car. And tell us what happens at that point. She presses the gas pedal and just goes, or what happens?
Yeah, once the car's running, getting the car started and everything, the driver just waits. There's nothing for her to do. Once we get the signal from the starter to go, we push the car to 25 or 30 miles an hour, at which point she drives away. She stands on the throttle and the car leaves, hopefully very quickly.
And then how does she stop?
Yeah. The car has parachutes for stopping. There's 4 separate parachutes, 2 primary chutes that are fairly small that go out at speed, and then 2 larger chutes that go out at about 300 miles an hour to bring it down to a stop.
I know you don't want to think about this, but what kind of safety mechanisms are on board for her?
Oh, no.
The car is very safe. The roll cage that she's in is made out of, the rules specify a certain size tubing. The tubing that we use for the car is 15% larger diameter and 30% thicker, and there's a lot more of it around the driver. The car has 3 halon fire extinguishing bottles in the event there's a fire. There's the parachutes for stopping. Car does have nominal brakes for the wheels, hydraulic brakes like your street car would have.
So when we start talking about this competition, what kind of challenges are there to make sure that you guys are going to win? And gal, I should say.
Part of the problem will be the 1-hour turnaround. In order to set the record for the FIA, the sanctioning body, you have to make 2 passes within an hour. that's going to be a real challenge to get the car ready to go a second time within an hour.
If you had your perfect scenario, how much time would that actually take if you didn't have to rush around?
We'll get it done in an hour. It would be nice to have 2 hours. Ultimately, it'd be nice to have overnight just to check everything on the car, but that's not feasible.
So how did you find Valerie Thompson? I mean, it's not like you just put an ad out on LinkedIn and says, hey, listen, we're looking for somebody to go 550 miles per hour.
You know, Valerie has a lot of experience with motorcycles, and she's been riding a motorcycle streamliner, the Bub 7 streamliner for Dennis Manning for a number of years. And Dennis Manning is friends with Marlo Trite, who owns the Target 550. And when our current driver, Les Davenport, decided to retire, Marlo mentioned to Dennis that he was looking for a driver, and Dennis said, why don't you talk to Valerie? And that's how it came about.
So what kind of track is this, Corey? I mean, I imagine that if Valerie hits a patch of dirt or some rocks, that it would be devastating. So what is the track made of?
The track is salt, just like table salt. And it's anywhere from a few inches to a foot or so thick. There is no gravel, there is no dirt exposed, it's pure salt. Well, we've driven 15 miles of it, and there's no visible change in it and no visible end to it.
And so why do this in Australia instead of Utah?
The salt flats in Utah are quite a bit smaller. The salt conditions are deteriorating rapidly. Last year we did some severe damage to the car because the track conditions were so poor. The course in Australia is a lot bigger and a lot smoother. And
what kind of tires do you need?
We run Goodyear's purpose-built land speed tires. They're 30-inch tires certified to over 600 miles an hour. We've had really good luck with the tires, no problems whatsoever. They're very good tires.
So what is the biggest piece of advice that you give Valerie as she sits in that car?
The throttle pedal works both directions. If you get in trouble, stop, we'll figure it out, and we'll try again.
Yeah, that's great advice right there. I mean, because I'm sure once you're sitting in there, you don't want to give up. Well, we wish you the best of luck. I know you're going to win it. I just have a feeling.
Thank you very much.
Corey, it's been great having you on the show today. And later on, we're going to meet one of the bravest women around, the actual driver of the Target 550 Streamliner, Valerie Thompson, who aims to earn herself the title, the fastest woman on 4 wheels.
History, baby, history.
Okay, now it's time for your weekly tech trivia question. Let's see how much you know about a certain company called Apple. It might be a $1 trillion company today, but it certainly had humble beginnings when it was founded by a couple of 20-something college dropouts back in 1976. And one of those founders was obviously Steve Jobs, and the other is also a name you probably are familiar with, Steve Wozniak. But you might not know there was a third founding member of Apple who didn't even last 2 weeks with the company before getting out. So who was the third original founder of Apple? Was it A, George Dayton, B, Pierre Omidyar, C, Fred Smith, or D, Ronald Wayne? Now, for bonus points, also guess what percentage of Apple he owned and how much he sold it for back in 1976. And stick around, I'll have the answers to both at the end of the hour. That's right, brand new or not true. Boy, you know, it seems like every week we have all these new products that come out in the tech industry, and then so often we sit back and we go, what were they thinking? And then it turns out to be, you know, maybe the newest unicorn, which is, you know, the billion-dollar company. And joining us is our brand new, speaking of, official call screener, Chris Wineland. Hello there, Chris.
Hello, I am brand new and true. Look at that.
And last week, you won.
I did. I'm still blown away.
Are you?
I am.
Okay, well, this week, the real one is number one. Number one.
Okay, I'll trust you.
So 2 products, just to refresh your memory. 2 products are fake.
Yes.
1 is real.
Okay.
Okay. We need to come up with a bet.
Ooh, I like that. I'm in.
Some type of...
I went in way too quick just now. I was like, bet, let's do it.
Okay, well, the bet is that you have to come in the show in a dress and heels, shave your beard, we'll put a nice... are you...
Maybe let's not do it.
Okay, we're not going to jump. Okay, you ready for number 1?
I'm ready.
Okay. Is your kitchen pantry a mess? Are you tired of people in your home, maybe even you just throwing things wherever it goes? Okay, then you might need the Kit Go or Go. Okay, The foundation is an app, and they also have bins that have little sensors on them. So you use the app, you scan whatever you're going to put in the pantry, the chips, your soup, baking products, and then it will tell you which bin it goes into. Okay, so it'd be like bin number 1, bin number 2.
Okay.
It includes 3 different size capacity bins, great for, they say, creating a clean, organized pantry, ideal for canned goods, food packets, drink boxes, baby food, juices, potatoes, onions, even apples. And then they have easy grip side handles so you can transport it from the table. But wait, there's more, because the app also keeps track of what's missing in those bins and in your pantry, and will put them on your grocery list that's now integrated with Amazon Groceries or Instacart.
It sounds like that would really help people with OCD a lot. Like it would feed it a little bit.
I mean, like, you know, like chicken soup, bin number 2.
Bin number 2.
Bin
It's
number
got to
2.
go in 2. Okay.
Okay, speaking of number 2, now a German company known for creating the ultimate kitchens, Bultrop, has incorporated Alexa into your pots and pans organization. Now you can only say, Alexa, I'm making a can of soup. And then the right pan will be presented to you. It'll go in and present it to you with a light shining on it. Or, Alexa, I'm going to make eggs. And then the recipe will be on Alexa, and then the Bultrop kitchen will come present to you the omelet pan.
Wow.
The system only works with Alexa right now. Google Assistant, they said, should be out by June 2020, in time for the annual International Kitchen Show that takes place in London.
Well, that sounds great, though.
Okay, number 3. In your kitchen, above your table, you might have a light hanging from the ceiling. Maybe there are times you need the light to shine on your cabinets, though. Or maybe you want the light to not shine on your food because it doesn't look so good. So at that point, you'd rather have the light shine up towards the kitchen. So a new award-winning design pendant lamp that allows you to move the light in any direction using simple paint gestures on your phone, because there's an app. So if you want the light to go up, you just open up the app and you put an arrow and it goes up. You want the light to go down. If you want to have mood lighting, because maybe it's like Valentine's Day weekend or something like that, and you want the red lighting, you could do that. You adjust the direction of the light wherever you want it. It has 300 LEDs. You can choose multiple colors. So you have the Kitco or Go.
Kitco or Go.
Okay. You have the Bultrop kitchen, modern kitchen, smart
pan.
kitchen, Alexa, and then you have the smart light.
Wow. Okay, so this was tough. You really, oh, this is hard because this involves kitchen, which is like, I'm staying in the kitchen every day. I love
Are you?
cooking.
Oh,
I'm
that's
a big
good.
cook. So I'm already distracted because I'm thinking about cooking now. So I'm gonna go with the lighting, the last one, number 3.
Final answer?
Oh yeah, please be.
You are absolutely right again.
What?
Great job, Chris. 2
Yes.
in a row.
Oh, no.
Wow.
No one's ever won 2 in a row.
I know what's going on.
Well, I'm brand new, you know? I'm in it.
Okay,
I'm
well,
ready.
you know, sometimes we have like, you know, we go in the beginning, we do things really well.
Yeah.
And then we get, I mean, you know what happens? You know, you get like overconfident.
Yeah, little comfortable, little, yeah.
You know, then it kind of like starts breaking apart. You're like, yeah, I got this. Next week, it's your turn.
Oh man, okay, I gotta keep it going.
New HUD technology is helping firefighters see through smoke-filled rooms and save lives. And it's all part of your Tomorrow's Tech Today, next on Komando. Tech moves at lightning speed, and I love to go past the headlines to tell you where the future is headed. And this week, let's start with robots. They're becoming more common in warehouses and even popping up as a bartender. But why can't they have an artistic side too? A symphony orchestra performing in the United Arab Emirates isn't what you'd expect. The musicians are real people, but the conductor is a Japanese android, complete with a humanoid face, torso, and of course arms. It's called Alter 3, and combined with AI, it controls the tempo of the show as it moves around almost as if a human would. The android can even jump in and sing if the situation calls for it. Now, it might look a little unsettling since it has some human elements, but far more exposed robotic parts as it waves its arms around. But for the record, this opera is called Scary Beauty. But really, opera? You'd think a robot's favorite music would be heavy metal. Okay, another tech that's finally beginning to become more mainstream is virtual reality. While you mostly hear about VR gaming, it's also being used in fields from the military to medical training. And now it's being used to go back in time. As a parent, you never even want to consider the possibility of losing your child, the thought of never seeing them again. A mother in South Korea lost her 7-year-old daughter to an incurable form of blood cancer in 2016. Filled with guilt and regret, she has photos of her daughter everywhere she can see, so she doesn't have to let go. A Korean media company spent several months working with the woman to create a documentary called I Met You. If you looked away from the screen, come back now. For this documentary, a virtual world was created where this mother could reunite and interact with her deceased daughter. They created the VR representation of the little girl using home videos, along with videos of children who were similar in size and looks. The mom was able to virtually touch and talk to her daughter in a park where they used to play. After the mother had this VR experience, she was able to better deal with her devastating pain, suffering, and grief. Still, a lot of people question whether this use of VR is a good thing. It might hurt another person. Grief is very universal, but it's also very personal. And one thing's for sure, the future of tech should not be based on clinging what was lost in the past. Okay, switching gears to a different kind of tech, let's talk about saving lives. I'm sure you've heard of heads-up displays, or HUDs, where text and graphics are overlaid onto something like a windshield. It's marketed as a safety feature to keep drivers' attention on the roads. It's also long been in military aircraft to keep pilots safe. Now it could do the same for firefighters. In a video hosted by Iron Man himself, Robert Downey Jr., talks about a new kind of HUD designed specifically for firefighters. It's a mask powered by AI and machine learning called the Quake See-Through. They're equipped with single-eye displays and thermal imaging cameras, which lets firefighters see in situations they wouldn't be able to otherwise. So you could have firefighters inside a building that's filled with dense smoke. If they can't see through it, they have to rely on touch to find their way around and locate anyone trapped inside. But with this thermal vision and augmented reality, firefighters will actually see edges of walls, objects, or people overlaid as green lines on their heads-up display. Although it's not on the market yet, it could one day let firefighters get back to fighting the fires and not fighting to see what's ahead. All right, now for a first-world problem involving your golf game and how future tech is here to help. If you don't have a golf cart or a caddie to haul your clubs around, you either have to throw the bag on your shoulder or use it as a push cart. Or you can check out the eWheels Caddie. It's a battery-powered device that pushes your clubs for you, hands-free, but it wasn't very smart. Now, the same company is back with the eWheels V2, which is supposed to turn any dumb push cart into a smart caddy. This time, it's got a magnetic smart tether, so the electric caddy knows how to follow you around. It adjusts to your walking pace, can climb hills, and knows when to hit the brakes. You can also use the companion remote to tell the caddy to go away when you need space to line up for your next shot. Oh, and it operates in bad weather, too. Hopefully, we'll see this smart caddy sometime this year. And true story, I was playing in a golf celebrity tournament, and I told my caddy I'd move heaven and earth to be able to break 100. My caddy said, try heaven. You've already moved most of the earth. Okay, my next guest is known as the Queen of Speed, and she's set to do it again. Find out how Valerie Thompson is aiming to become the fastest person on four wheels. And it's only on Komando. Our next guest, Valerie Thompson, is the world's fastest female motorcycle racer, as well as an 8-time land speed record holder. Now, the fastest woman on two wheels is set to become the fastest on four wheels by piloting the Target 550 car to a speed of 550 miles per hour. Hey, Valerie, thanks for coming on the show today. I'm sure it's got to be nerve-wracking what you have chosen as a profession. How the heck did you get into this?
It is nerve-wracking, but you know what? I have the front row seat to history, so that's all I got to say on that end.
So what did you do before you became like the fastest woman in the world?
Well, I was a former banker at a banking industry and for 13 years, and I actually got laid off. And I said my next career is going to be something outdoors, some passion with passion, and I sure did create it.
Well, you know, hiking would have been good.
Well, I love hiking too. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Okay, so tell us about the motorcycle race, your first record.
Well, my very first record, it was on a Harley-Davidson Panhead by Keith Ball at bikernet.com. And I was going a little slower, like 143 miles per hour. But I set a record, and it was absolutely the start of my land speed racing journey.
Have a good run out there, Valerie.
Thank you, John.
We'll see you at the other end.
Hurry up at the end.
Yeah.
Now I've gone up to 328 miles per hour in the Bub 7 Streamliner, purposely built for me to go fast.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is going through your head? I mean, that you're going to go this fast. I mean, do you blank everything out, or you're like are just holding on, or what's going on?
The acceleration is monstrous. There's a big chunk of adrenaline, and it's a pinch of insanity. I'm totally focused. It's calming. It's slow motion. I mean, at the end of the day, I need Advil.
Have you ever crashed?
Yes. I have crashed in Australia 2018 in the Bub 7 Streamliner motorcycle, and we were attempting to set the world record of 376 miles per hour, but unfortunately I only made it to 363, and you know, that's where I sit with that. So I survived. Yes, I survived. The team survived. You know, I've had the best safety equipment, the best people to build these motorcycles and these Streamliner cars and whatnot. So, you know, anywhere from my fire suit and a Hans device to my helmet to arm restraints. We even have a new molded seat from one of our crew members. He came up with this Velcros on the side to take me out if I need to, all in one piece.
So tell us about the race that's coming up in Australia.
Well, the race coming up in Australia is set for March 23rd through the 30th, and we are racing in the outback. It's completely down and under in the. It's like a salt flats there, like we have here in Bonneville, and we're going to attempt the world record of 415 miles per hour.
Wow! Have you ever come close to that?
And no. I successfully set a record of 328 miles per hour on 2 wheels.
History, baby, history.
And so now you're really going for it.
Oh, I'm going for it. We're all going for it. I have a great crew. We have a great team, and I have a great piece of machine that's going to take us to the next level.
So you said that it's relaxing for you to actually do a race like this. I'm just thinking, you know what? I love cars. You know, we sat there at a dinner party right next to each other. We were talking the talk, right? But I don't think I could get into a car with 2 rockets strapped to my butt and just go for it.
Yes, you can. If I can, you can.
Is it one of those? Is it one of those things like once you get over the fear that it becomes kind of second nature almost?
Well, it is second nature, but you know, there's a lot of work to be done inside of the cockpit. I mean, you have to be 100% focused. You know, there's no room for errors, and you have to be perfect in your runs. You know, you have to shift on time. You know, you have to use your prep rule. There's a lot of things that come with going that fast because, like I said, everything does slow down, but everything else is in fast motion.
So how did you put together, I mean, it takes money to do this. How did you put all of this together so that this way you'd be able to live your dream?
Well, I am actually working on that as we speak. We have some great sponsors that are by our side that have been with us. And, you know, we seek sponsors and we need sponsors. And, you know, I did set up a GoFundMe page that, you know, helps support the rest of our efforts. It's expensive to be racing in 2 different, in Australia. It's a lot of work.
Well,
it takes a lot of money.
It does. I mean, because you're going to have to ship everything down there, get it to the outback. Do they even have the internet?
We have no internet. So I am sorry, fans, for not being able to keep you all posted because there's nothing.
Now, of course, you know, all the conspiracy theories are going to come out that maybe you didn't do the record and that you came back to the United States and then you photoshopped all this together.
Oh, no, we're doing the record. I'm sorry. We're going to get it. I want to retire. You know, I want to retire on 4 wheels. I want to retire on 2 wheels when the new bike is ready. And you know, that's on my bucket list to retire at 400 plus.
And so is this it? I mean, after this race, do you retire?
I think so.
You know, Valerie, I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that. I mean, I think, you know, you're gonna break this record, and then suddenly there's gonna be another record and another record and another record, and we're gonna be at a dinner party 20 years from now, and you'll still be talking to me about, yes, I'm going to break that next record.
I am going to break this record, and then I'll break the next record on 2 wheels. So I I have a really great chance to make history, and that's what I want. I want to leave my mark, my name in the record books forever. You know, this record that I'm going for has been there since 2008. So I think it's time.
Well, we wish you best of luck, safe travels, safe driving, and it's been great having you on the show today, Val. And you can check out Valerie's official website at valeriethompsonracing.com to see all the hard work that everyone is putting in to make this world record achievement a reality. All right, now back to the trivia question I asked you earlier. Aside from Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, there was a third brief founder of Apple. What was his name? A, George Dayton, B, Pierre Omidyar, C, Fred Smith, or D, Ronald Wayne? The answer is Ronald Wayne. Considerably older than Jobs and Wozniak, Wayne was the adult supervision in the early days, and I do mean those days. It didn't take long before Wayne became concerned that any debt would become his personal responsibility. So 12 days after the company's official start, he sold his 10% stake in Apple back for $800. And today, that 10% stake would be worth about $100 billion. I'm sure the first song on Ronald Wayne's favorite playlist these days is Cher's If I Could Turn Back Time. And as far as the other names on the list, Fred Smith started FedEx in 1971. Pierre Omidyar actually started eBay in 1995. And George Dayton founded what would later become the Target Corporation back in 1902. Now, don't you feel so smart? All right, it's time now for our digital life hack tip of the week. And it's impossible to deny that Amazon has changed just the way that we shop, the way that we do business online. Since 2004, amazing numbers. Amazon has grown from $6.92 billion in sales to more than $280 billion. Wow. And on top of that, there are now an estimated 105 million Amazon Prime members. And what we see today is just the beginning, because pretty soon our Amazon boxes will literally just come from the sky with these autonomous delivery drones. So whether you shop on Amazon a little or like me all the time, here are a few insider secrets that you wish that you knew about sooner, starting with one great reason to use that Amazon app. Because here's the deal. You can price match with Amazon. You just open the app, access the scanner, tap on the camera. You can do barcodes. And even if you decide not to buy the item from Amazon, you can still usually like companies at Target and Walmart, they price match. And so you just want to show them what's going on with your app. Now, you can also check out no rush shipping. If you haven't looked at this, instead of getting 2-day shipping, you can get no rush shipping. Orders delivered in about 6 days. It does take longer, but then you get these rewards back. Get free ebooks, movies, TV shows, Prime Video, good stuff like that. I don't know if you'd like to do number 3, because I did number 3 myself, and it was frightening, actually. And I'm not going to tell you the number, but you can calculate how much money you've ever spent on Amazon.com. Ouch, that's right. You go under order history reports, you can have a detailed readout. I guess it can be useful at tax time. It's an exportable spreadsheet format, so you can see every little thing that you've purchased. It's pretty scary. Number 4, save money with Amazon warehouse deals. If you haven't looked there, that's a good place. And don't be nervous about buying any pre-owned items. They come with a return policy just like new ones. Number 5 on our list is only pay for the months that you're actually using Prime. This is a strategic thing. A lot of people do this because let's say we're only going to use Prime by like holidays and maybe just birthdays and reunions and good stuff like that. Is that what you can do is cancel it. We've got the steps on how to do it as well as to reactivate it. If at first you don't succeed, find a way to rush to market again. I'm talking about the Galaxy Fold. Last year was a flop, but now Samsung has unveiled the Galaxy Fold Z. The original Fold was the size of a typical smartphone when closed, but this one's more of a throwback to the popular clamshell-style flip phones, kind of like the resurrected Motorola Razr. It has a hideaway hinge, which is supposed to be better than the previous hinge design. The Galaxy Fold Z, are you ready for this? Costs $1,400 to start. Now, for perspective, the iPhone 11 Pro Max starts at $1,100. Now, last October, Microsoft announced the Surface Duo. Even though it's not supposed to hit the market until late this year, a version of that foldable phone was spotted in public. And the video was taken by someone on a train in Vancouver. Now, the good news is Microsoft is not bringing back a Windows mobile operating system for the Surface Duo. This one's going to be running on Android. All right, many moons ago, we used to have peepholes in our doors. That's right, kids, ask your parents about how they look through a little hole to see who was at the door to make sure it was safe to open the door. And then in 2013, inventor Jamie Siminoff bought his idea for a smart video doorbell to TV's Shark Tank, hoping for a deal. All the sharks rejected him. It was a dumb idea. But the product Ring became a huge hit. Amazon purchased his company in 2018 for over $1 billion. Video doorbells are easy to set up and use, but don't rush through and skip essential security steps. There are a few settings you need to change to make sure you're as secure as possible. Because remember, just because your home is safe from intruders doesn't make it safe from those hackers. So let's start with two-factor authentication. Let's face it, there's no point in paying for a security system. It can be hacked. And so with 2FA, it's an extra layer of verification. It's a stumbling block for anyone attempting to access your account. We'll tell you exactly the steps you need to do it for your Ring, as well as your Nest Hello device. Number 2, tell your device what and when to record and when not to. There's a circular light surrounding the button on a Ring. On the Nest, it's a glowing green dot. What you want to do is set it up so that you're at home and when you're not at home, and you can also set up activity zones. We'll tell you how to do it. And when motion is detected, you want to be notified, right? So that's where you want to set up Ring alerts and motion alerts. You set up in settings and notifications. You also want to make sure that you are not doing number 4 if you don't feel comfortable. That's sharing all your footage with the police. We'll tell you how to stop that from happening if you want to. Look no further than the official homepage of the Kim Komando Show. That's KOMANDO.com. And once you're there, hit the link that says Kim Show, and you'll have all the steps that you need.
Standby control. Cue Kim.
We've all seen way too many photoshopped images, and sometimes nature does a better job. I'll explain what I mean next here on Komando. With so many images photoshopped these days, it's easy to look at a photo and immediately think, it's a fake. That's not the case with these amazing photos. First, Lee Howdle was hiking in a national park in Derbyshire, central England, where he encountered something called a Brocken spectre. Basically, a whole slew of circumstances comes together. When taking a photo, the sun is behind you, and you see your shadow on an elevated area that reaches a cloud along with a halo of light. It's pretty stunning. Now, another photographer, Michael Schneider, snapped an amazing image the very moment ice crystals froze midair, creating a perfect halo around the sun. And there's a little fun fact for you in this photo. The 22-degree arc is one of the most common ice halos. The 22 is about the distance covered by your fully outstretched hand, thumb, on the sun to your pinky finger on the halo. Photos like these remind me that life is beautiful without all the crazy editing tricks and filters that we use. And I hope it did for you too. And I really appreciate you being here, and stick with me for more digital know-how, and find your local radio station that broadcasts my show, along with DIY how-tos, videos, free news alerts delivered from me to your email address, along with the Komando community, where you can blog and ask your tech questions on our website without anyone tracking you. That's komando.com, and thanks so much for watching.